It's another Adventure Force Primetime Toys Dart Zone Blaster, and this one looks so freaking cool I don't even know what to do with it, because this is a mini gun. It's not very big, but it's definitely meant to mimic some kind of minigun. Oh, and I've gotten my hands on it before, it's really good. The Adventure Force V-Twin Motorized Gatling Belt Blaster. It's fully automatic with a rapid-fire rotating barrel, shoots up to 80 feet, and includes 30 darts. On the back of it, we've got the release breech cover, insert ammo belt, trigger, rev trigger, power grip handle, stabilizes rapid fire blast. Looks like it's something you can slide on and off the blaster. That's a little curious. 15-round cylinder storage. So yes, these cylinders look like they might actually contain darts and shoot darts from them, but no, they're literally just storage. It has a 30 dart belt, so of course it's got 15 in each one of the drums, which is a pretty nifty little feature. Rapid fire rotating barrel, load 30 rounds into the belt. This is a different belt than what you would get with like the Enforcer or of course the Scorpion or anything like that, because it uses a different pushing mechanism that we'll talk about shortly, and it's full auto battery powered, fires over 3 darts per second, which is pretty good rate of fire actually. Maybe not the best, but pretty freaking good. And then on the back of the box it says it takes 6 AA batteries, and I'm assuming your rate of fire is going to take a hit because of course this thing, well, it's got a rotating barrel on it, which doesn't do anything but make you absolutely menacing and really cool. And hopefully it works better than the Scorpion barrel, and from what I remember, it really freaking did. So let's free it from its cardboard and zip tie prison. Boink, chop, yeet, Kobe, and I don't know, and boom, boink. The blaster itself, already you can tell this thing looks really cool. It would be a shame to put those Gatling drum things on it. In fact, we're gonna test it to see if it can run the chain before we do that. I'm guessing it could, but just for sanity's sake, I wanna try it without that. The chain, once again, it's a different mechanism, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Well, it's drawn blood, so hopefully it's a good blaster. So this is the base blaster without the little things on. Oh, it is completely removable. How about that? That is smart. Very smart. I don't think it mentions anything about that on the box. Removable handle? No, it doesn't say anything about it. That's pretty cool. We've got not really clicky rev trigger, not really clicky primary fire trigger, although it is in a comfortable setup with a little thumb grip up there, and it's a nice and beefy, big size grip. The front grip is actually really comfortable too. It's a little bit choky, a little wobbly. That's what you get for making a detachable thing, but I think they have a feeling that other people are going to use this for nefarious deeds like modification, so, I mean, we're probably just going to take that off anyway, but hey. Could also 3D print a better one, I'm assuming. Open this up and we see kind of, that does a complete flip up. This is the new propulsion mechanism for the darts. It actually clips in to a little rotation thing right there, so that will just kind of fit in there. I'm not sure exactly how it figures out if I rotate that a little bit. Can I jam that up, I wonder? But because of that, because it doesn't have an actual pusher and it uses this little wheel, yeah, it doesn't work with the original chains, unfortunately. This will work in your other blasters because it still has a hole in the back for the pusher, and it's the same diameter and whatnot, but since the chain has to have these cutouts, I mean, yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer, but hopefully because of that we get a better rate of fire. Battery tray is located right back here in the back of the blaster. It's labeled with an S2 on it. Curious, it does say the powered by Primetime Toys Dart Zone. It doesn't actually say V-Twin or anything on it, it just says the S2. Little interesting, could have been an S4, I would have really appreciated that. They're Amazon basics, a lot of people are going to be using that for their blasters anyway because they sell billions of those little batteries. They're not great, but they do in fact work, and of course, they're really cheap. Talk about the other stuff on this blaster like sling points. There are none. No, seriously, there are no sling points on this, which is kind of a huge bummer. It really could have used that, but we're just going to take our chain, slid it on there. It's not really meant to come back out, unfortunately, but I mean, it can. It's not meant to, but it can. Rev trigger. And then, of course, the fire trigger, and that should spin the barrel, I'm guessing. Yeah, well, it only stopped firing there because let's kind of get it off the table. As you can see, a pretty respectable rate of fire. Not too fast, but also not too slow, which I really like about this. And it was hitting pretty hard, so let's go ahead and snap these things on there. I don't know if they're actually labeled or not. I'm guessing they could only go on one way, which, yeah, looks like it will grip in like, oh no, because that is entirely backwards. So yeah, there is literally only one way these things can go on. Oh, they are labeled. There's an L right there. Good! Well, I bet if you put those on backwards... No, they can snap off if you need them to. That's, yeah, they're spring-loaded little indents. Good, good. Because you might want to take them off. You never know. Yeah, that just looks pretty menacing right there. Seems like the rotating barrel actually has a little bit of braking in it, and it's got 5 nice prongs on it as opposed to 4, so it looks much better than most of these little Gatling barrels. And would you look at that, it's your own DIY Nerf clickbait thumbnail where for some reason they've taped up a bunch of darts to the side of their blaster, and for some reason lots of little kids click on them. Not sure why, don't know why nobody cares about that, but you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be trying to do something like that for the thumbnail for this behemoth. See how well it does on a shake test. Had one dart fall out of the chain. Okay, if I tap it, yeah, they just start falling out of the belt pretty drastically, but in normal shaking, it should be completely fine. Again, very loose fit on the belt, and the belt didn't really come off, which is a good thing. It looks like you would be able to run around with this thing. Some of these darts are worn, so that might have something to do with it, and not have to worry too much about it not being able to fire when you pick it up. And on the bright side, even if you do, you have these things which are much stronger fit that hold a complete reload of the entire chain on it. So you do have basically 60 darts on this one blaster, and it would be really easy to, if you were to expend a dart, to just draw one out of here and put it in there. A very, very smart design for this blaster. I'm quite impressed. What I'm not impressed by is the fact that you couldn't sling this somewhere as a secondary, because that's what this would be perfect. So say you have one of the other blasters like the Destroyer or of course the Savage Spin as another primary or another blaster on you, you could easily have this on your hip, just pick it up, fire it, put it back down, and go back to using your other one. And if this runs out of ammo, you could of course fill up one of those other blasters and then top this one up with the ammo inside of it. So figuring out a nice way to sling this blaster is going to be priority number 1, but Dart Zone is really giving you a lot of options if you want to have a primary blaster or a complete loadout for cheap. And I'm rather impressed, but let's see how the FPS readings for this thing are. 75. 77, 80, 78, 79, 76, 77, 75, 78, 78, 79. So it does hit a little bit lower than the other blasters we've taken a look at in this line, but that's mostly because of the giant intimidation that is, of course, the spinny barrel. So you are gonna lose some power because of that, but that's also kind of the entire point of the blaster. Of course, that range will drop a little bit when you're using it in full auto, but it is obviously very easy to single fire as long as you aren't blocking the chain against yourself or on a table or something like that. A very cool blaster. Really, this thing is absolutely awesome and kind of primed to be used with some kind of LiPo setup on a 3S with, well, a better chain would be good. My main thing I want to do with something like this is magazine feed it, just like I did with, of course, the original Death Stinger that I did a video on, which was a glued magwell on the side of a Scorpion. This would be even better because it's much more comfortable and it would be really easy to just tilt it up, pull a mag out, put another mag in, keep going, which is, well, different than what we've got going on here. It would be really cool, but unfortunately, because of the way this wheel works, there's not really a way for me to do that unless I modify the mag or, of course, the blaster in some extreme way, like replacing this entire pusher system, which is a bit disappointing. So you're pretty much gonna get what you are. I'm not saying it can't be magazine fed, but it's gonna be really, really difficult. I think the best way to do it would be going through the bottom and just having the wheel on top push stuff in, which may work and may be exceptionally effective for all I know, but I haven't done it yet. That is my review of the Adventure Force V-Twin. I like it. If I have to give it a grade, I would give it a, let's say a bronze, because it does a lot of things. It's really cool. You should check it out. It's not trash or anything like that, but it hits a little bit weaker than some other blasters I could recommend. $30 price tag, of course, so it's still pretty competitive on that front. And of course the chain, which only way you can get one right now, it's the only blaster uses that chain. No sling points. There are some issues with it that help prevent me from giving it a much higher grade, but it's still definitely a cool blaster, and I'm sure a lot of you will pick it up and have fun with it. I know I will. $30 at your local Walmart. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course I hope to see you in an entirely different one. Unless it's probably another Dart Zone review, which it might be kind of the same thing. Different blaster though, I promise.
You gotta